Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello, welcome. I like doing these little previews before the games. Don't often get the chance to, though, midweek. Wolves against Newcastle, Monday night football. Not a big fan of Monday night football, not a big fan of the programme, not a big fan of Sky Sports, with all their football on all the time. Although I do like watching it, mine, but not when it's Wolves, because I'm at the games most of the time. So, excuse me. I've just enjoyed my pre-match meal deal from Sainsbury's Local, just around the corner. Got my Diet Coke again, like I did last week. If anybody from Coca-Cola would like to sponsor the channel, that'd be great. I had my kettle chips and my bacon sandwich, which proved lucky last week. Oh, excuse me. So hopefully that will provide the luck needed tonight as well. Wolves, of course, on a fantastic run of form in the Premier League. They've won the last 3 games. Oh, excuse me. And if you go back to the beginning of December, that Chelsea victory, since that game, or since the game before that, which was Cardiff, I think we've only lost to Man City, Liverpool, and Crystal Palace. And that Crystal Palace game was a bit of a freak game, really. So hopefully we'll be able to continue the good run of form that we've shown against teams around us, like Leicester, Everton, and West Ham in this game now against Newcastle. I think it's the easiest game that we've had for a while on paper. But of course, we know that games are not won on paper, are they? And we need to make sure that we play well. We put the right attitude onto the pitch, and we get the right result. So let's have a look. There doesn't seem to be many people watching at all. If you're watching, say hello, please, in the chat. Here he is, LUFC Dave, asking about Ryan Giles again. Will Giles be on the bench today? No, he won't. No chance. Unfortunately, I doubt we'll see Ryan Giles at all now for the rest of the season. I think he may be on the bench. He may be on the bench for a few games, but very much doubt it. Hello, Dan Evans. Score prediction. Well, I'll tell you a quick story. A girl that I work with who's not interested in football whatsoever, she correctly predicted. In fact, I say correctly predicted. She's got such a lack of interest in football that after the Everton game, I asked her, "What do you think the score was?" And she said 3-1. She didn't have a clue. So I asked her today, "What do you think the score's going to be?" She said 3-2 to Wolves. So I put £1 on Wolves to win 3-2 with the odds about 33-1 with William Hill. So that's quite a good little flutter, if you ask me. I've also got Jimenez to score the first goal at 7-2, which I think is quite a good price for him. Vinagre has had the flu. Correct, he has. I'm not sure if that's still the case, because I think he has been training while out in Marbella, which they've just come back from. I don't imagine that there'll be that many changes to the team. I think Wolves have got a very, very settled lineup now, similar to the beginning of the season, where they went for 10 games, was it, or 12 games without changing their team. It was a long, long time. And I think we're falling back into that sort of settled mentality, which I think is good. Peter Rimmer is on his way, fingers crossed. How are we all feeling? I'm not. I think I was possibly more confident before the Everton game. I think before the West Ham game, I was convinced that we would lose. I wasn't very confident at all before that. Leicester game, I thought it was 50-50 because we'd had that difficult game against Man City the week before, or the Monday before. We weren't in a particularly great run of form. And now we are in a good run of form. We're into a game that we should win. So the pressure's on the players really to perform and to pull something out of the bag, because we're expecting it, and that's what's going to be difficult, because that's what's damaged the team in the past this season. games against Huddersfield and Watford came off the back of good runs of form. Today's very much the case as well. So we'll see. Score prediction, I need to go, says LUFC Dave. I'll stick with my 3-2. A very exciting game. Goals, goals, goals. We'll see. Get into Europe or win the FA Cup or both, says Dan Evans. Well, we'll just have a little sip of this while I think. Cheers, Dave. Right. Well, obviously, we would get into Europe by winning the FA Cup. And the thing is, I think it's inevitable that Wolves will get into Europe anyway, either this season or next season, I think. And I don't think that's been arrogant at all. I think that's the expectation from the board and from the team. Looks like a bit of steamy window action. It's only me then. Only me, Rob. Yeah, so I think Wolves will inevitably get into the Europa League or to the Champions League sooner rather than later. We might not have another opportunity for a cup run as deep as we could get this season. You know, if we beat Bristol City on Sunday, that takes us into the last 8 of the competition for the first time since 2003, when we lost against Southampton in the 6th round. You know, it's opened up for us, and we've got a very good opportunity of getting to a semi-final or final. There's so many smaller teams than us left in the draw as well. If we were to get, we could end up having Wimbledon or somebody like that in the 6th round, which would be insane. I really hope Newport, for everybody else in the competition, if Newport do something against Man City. I think it was mentioned on the commentary yesterday between Chelsea and Man City that it won't be the players that win it for Newport. It would be the groundsman and him having a week off, because they're not going to... I mean, that pitch was terrible for the Middlesbrough game and the Leicester game. And City is so good at passing the ball quickly and slickly. That's going to be what stops them. But then again, they could just work on an aerial, just keep the ball up off the grass. The sort of thing that Pep would have them doing. You never know. But yeah, hoping for a big shock from Newport. Hoping for Man United or Chelsea going out, and then that really opens us up in the draw. If we can avoid, I mean, I think on our day, I think we could beat either United or Chelsea. City are a different kettle of fish though. At Molineux, perhaps in the 6th round at home. You never know. But what's going to be interesting on Sunday is that it's a straight knockout game. There's no replay or anything if there's a draw. And I think if it is to go to extra time, I think we'll have the legs. I think we're a very, very fit team. We've seen that so often this season and last season, where we keep going until the 95th, 96th minute. There's a nice light in there, isn't there? Just move mine out of the way. Yeah, and I think the fitness is going to be a big thing. It was a big thing last Tuesday against Shrewsbury. In the last half an hour, we were able to keep on going where Shrewsbury were tiring somewhat. So hopefully we'll have too much. I know Bristol are banging form, as somebody just said, but I think they struggle to win away at Blackburn on Saturday. I think is it 8 wins they've got in a row now. They are very, very good. They're a very good cup team, but also I'm not quite sure because I haven't looked at their fixtures and stuff yet for their games afterwards. But I think they've got a big game after our game, possibly the midweek after the Sunday. So it's and with where they are in the league, they've got a chance of getting into the playoffs. So, that could be a priority for them. But yeah, I think from what I've gathered from these little live streams that I've done before the games now, is people are more excited about the cup than they are about the league, because it's such a novelty. Because we don't do that well in the cups, or certainly in my lifetime we haven't done that well in the cups. We got to one semi-final in 1998, and then won quarter final in 2003. But that, 16 years without getting past the fifth round. The fifth round, of course, 2 years ago when we beat Liverpool in the fourth round, and then and Stoke in the third before going out to Chelsea. But Conte's first season at Chelsea, when they should have won the double, really. They didn't. Craig Dawes says the cup would be nice, but seventh and Europe better. The thing is with that, Craig, is you got to think of. I think if I was Nuno now, I'd be thinking about my legacy already at Wolves and thinking about, you turn up to the ground every day and you're greeted by statues of Billy Wright and Stan Cullis, heroes of the club who won, a number of trophies. You've got to think, if he was to win an FA Cup, if Nuno was to win the first FA Cup that Wolves have won since 1950, 60 years, 1960. Did I say 1960? Nearly, 60 years. That's that will be remembered for the next 60, 70 years. If you finish seventh in the Premier League, the last Wolves have finished seventh in the First Division in the 1980s. Late 70s. We've done that, but can you remember the manager that did it? Maybe, but it's not something that's remembered by many fans. When was the last time we were in Europe, though? 1980-81 after the League Cup win. But also, we would qualify for Europe by winning the FA Cup, is my argument. We're safe in the league. We're not going to get relegated. There's no way any of the bottom three teams are going to get more than 38 points. We're already safe. Not mathematically, but we are safe. So we should be playing our first team, full strength team against Bristol, trying to blow them away in the first half, get 2 or 3 goals, and make sure that we see the job through. We don't have a scrape. We don't want to go to extra time. We do not want penalties and things like that. We want to make sure that we're comfortably through, and on to the next round. But anyway, on to tonight, please, boys and girls. We're all getting distracted about the cup. Somebody just mentioned there, what do I think about João Felix? Never heard of him. I'm terrible. Excuse me. I have got to get better, I think, about looking at players from Europe, because doing these live streams, people often will throw names like that at me, and I don't know who they are. I need to play more Football Manager, perhaps. But what position does he play, Rob? Do you know? Is he? I think a striker is what we probably need. If you're going to sign, you'd imagine that we'd sign Jimenez in the summer. We need another striker with him as well, I would say. If I was in charge, I think what I'd be looking at as well is improving the defence. Not that it's been bad at all. I think I think if you probably look at it, we've got probably one of the best defences from any promoted team ever. But I just think we need somebody more mobile than Ryan Bennett and Connor Cody. I think I've mentioned it a few times now, and I think probably fullbacks as well. However good Matt Doherty's been, he's been superb. Yeah, Craig, read my mind, mate. I think we either need competition for Doherty, or we need somebody who's going to replace him. I know that we looked at that Cancelo from Juventus. Did he go to Juventus or something? I don't know. I really like Alex Telles as well, purely from FIFA. I've had him for Wolves as left back, and he's superb. He's really, really fast. He's good. He's Brazilian. I like him a lot. He plays for Porto, I believe, now. I think he'd be a good sign-in. I think he's been people have mentioned his name previously as well, saying, why don't we try and go and get him? But I think we it's interesting to think about what could happen in the summer, because if we were to get European football somehow, the calibre of player that we'd be able to attract is going to be even greater than it already is. You know, you look at the players that we brought in last summer with just Premier League, Jean Moutinho, Jimenez and Patricio, those three in particular. And then you add European football on top of that and say, right, who can you go and get now? It's going to be some of the top names in European, not the top names, but we're going to know these players. I think it's going to be, you know, players that we can poach from other teams. It's very, very exciting. I mean, can you believe? I think it was mentioned by Jeff Shee in the interview that he did this morning. I have done a video as well. I think it's currently uploading. Is it already done? It may have already done. About the interview that Jeff Shee and Laurie Dalrymple gave this morning to Sky Sports, talking about the Molineux and the ground, the expansion and all that stuff. And they mentioned, I think it was Jeff Shee specifically mentioned a game against Rotherham 2 years ago in March. I think it was, I could be wrong, it was around my sister's 21st birthday. I think it was the 10th of March in 2017, where we just about beat Rotherham, who were terrible that season. If you remember, they were bottom of the league, and we just about scraped a 1-0 win against them. And they should have snatched a point at the end. They had a really, really good chance. That was right at the start of my my time doing this YouTube channel. And he said he remembers them being booed off the pitch, having won the game, and you know he still thinks back to that moment and thinks about how far we've come in such a short time, and just, you know, he knows it's a process, and you know, because of that result, they sort of assessed Paul Lambert's position and then decided to get rid of him and things like that. Yeah, we got beaten by Barnsley 4-1 that season as well. Burton beat us. Can you believe that? Burton Albion beat us. And I don't think we beat Burton at all that season, did they? They drew down here, didn't they? And then they beat us at the Pirelli. It was a terrible season. We know that, just a mess, that first season under Fosun. But if you look at what they did then that summer, they obviously, you know, they took over very, very late in the summer 2016. I think it was the end of July, last week of July or something. So they had a week or so before the start of the season. Panicked, bought all sorts of players, bought in Zenga. They wanted their own men in charge. Clearly, Moxie didn't like that. I remember I was in Italy at the time on holiday, and Moxie was going to do some sort of handover process. He already had his job lined up at Norwich, I believe, but he was going to stay at the Wolves until about October and you know, stay on the board and make sure that things were passed over nicely. But I think that Fosun were doing things so quickly and making decisions so quickly that he couldn't stay part of it and decided to leave. But I mean, they know what they're doing, and that's the difference between our club and West Brom and Villa, who have got these, you know, rich owners on apparently, but they just haven't got the football knowledge at all. I think we mentioned on the South Bank Resistance podcast that I don't know his name, the West Brom bloke. I don't know his name, but he's providing all the AstroTurf and stuff. I think he's an AstroTurf like salesman or something. He's providing all that stuff for all the Fosun boys' gardens and stuff. So clearly, that's the level that Fosun are at. That they, you know, they're massive and they're huge, and the potential that the club has got is frightening, really, really frightening. I'm going to throw it out to, there's 20 people watching now. Let's have a look. Who thinks that this season we'll get European football? Just reply yes. Who thinks that we'll finish this season in the European spot, in 7th place, or will we win the FA Cup? Hamza says yes. Anybody else think we're going to have European football next season? Craig Dawes, yes. Anybody else? Got 2 out of 22. Yes, toolkits. Yes. Personally, I think we're going to be playing in Europe next year. I don't know how it's going to happen. Whether we finish 7th. I've just had a little bit with the caretaker at school now. who's a big Wolves fan, he said that Wolves are going to finish 6th. I said, don't be so silly. No chance. And I said, if Wolves were to finish 6th, then I would do his job for a week in the summer holidays. I don't think we'll finish 6th, but I think 7th. I think is perfectly within reason. I think an FA Cup win is perfectly within reason. So, if you're just joining the chat as well, if you're just joining the channel, we're just discussing, will Wolves have European football next season? Just simply comment yes in the chat if you believe that Wolves are going to get European football next season. We'll move on then. We'll say the next question is going to be, will Wolves win the Premier League in the next 5 years? So that's from, if Wolves finish 6th, then Nuno can have my wife. Will Wolves win the Premier League in the next 5 years? So that's what we're in now. 19, so before 2024. Legend says yes. Marie Gribben says yes. Another yes. If we carry on with our good form and with Chelsea and Arsenal falling down, there's a good chance we can get 6th. There's a big gap. There's 9 points. Well, I think it's 12 points. There's 9 if we win today. There's a big old gap. Jason Turley reckons we'll win the Premier League in 3 years. Defo. Ooh. Right, Craig Dawes, the first person to say no. Right, realistically, but we would be close. Yes, in the next 4 years, so less than 5 years. So Peter Smith thinks 2023 is the year. 5 to 7 years, says Hamza. Okay, so people most people think that we might 5 years. If you think about the trajectory of the club, though, I think folks want to do it within 7. You've got to think about how successful they've been so far. Since they appointed Nuno, everything has come quicker than was expected. So they won promotion within 1 year when they wanted it in 2. They won this season. I think they were expecting sort of mid-table. John Robinson says we could win it next year. Well, I remember back in July, I think it was, I went to meet Michael Pettelengro of South Bank Resistance fame, and he said that he wouldn't be surprised if Wolves won the league this year. Now, I think, but then, I don't know whether he knows this, but I saw him in a car park after the Leicester game, and I don't know if it was him or one of his friends mentioned, they said, I just hope the season could end now, and we finished the 17th. I'll never forget hearing, I don't know who it was, but one of his friends said that. And I was going to turn around to him and say, you said to me 2 weeks ago we were going to win the league. And now because we've lost a game against Leicester, you think that, we're just about going to stay up. It's a funny old league. You've got to be really consistent. It's not like the Championship where you can afford the odd, excuse me, we can afford the odd slip in form. You have to be consistent. Even Liverpool now, they're picking up points, even though they're not winning games. Same with City. They lost one game last week. They've gone on this, scoring spree now of 13 goals in 3 games, and they've conceded. Oh, excuse me. And they've conceded 1. They're a freak of a team, Man City. Absolute freaks. Do I think that we'll win the FA Cup? I don't think. It's difficult to predict that, isn't it? I think we just got to take each game as it comes, which is what Nuno says and what Nuno does. And I'll be very, very grateful if we could, if we can beat Man City. Man City. If we beat Bristol City, and if we get a favourable draw in the 6th round. But we've got to remain focused. We don't want to get carried away, because if we do get a favourable draw in the 6th round, particularly at home, I think there could be a lot of what's the word? A lot of sort of taking your eye off the ball. What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Complacency, and we could end up embarrassing ourselves. I think we've got to make sure we get to a semi-final. That'd be a massive thing, massive step in the right direction for a team that hasn't got to the semi-final of a tournament since 1998. You know, and it'd be the first time that we've got to a semi-final as a top-tier team since, I want to say, 1981. I think I could be wrong there, but I know that we got to the FA Cup semi-final in 1981 because I was watching a Hillsborough documentary recently, and they referenced that. I think it was against Spurs. Well, it was against Spurs. Spurs won the cup in 1981, and it was there was a crush in that game at the Wolves end. So it could have been that, you know, Wolves could have been involved in a similar sort of Hillsborough accident. But yeah, that, I mean, it would be. I mean, how long ago was that? 30, nearly 40 years ago. 38 years ago. What do you all think? Do you think Wolves will win the FA Cup this season? Let's have a yes or no quickly in the comments. Yes or no? Will Wolves win the FA Cup this season? Marie Gribben, yes. I think you've said yes to everything, Marie. Very, very positive. I like that a lot. Just one yes. Maybe, says Oliver Richards. It is dependent on the draw, isn't it, really? I mean, if we get Man City away in the next round, the odds are that we're probably going out then, isn't it? No, we'll lose in the final, says Hamza. No, John Robinson. Oh, dear. Lots of negativity now. Not liking this, boys. Come on. Let's have some yeses. Will Wolves win the FA Cup this season? Somebody say yes, please. I'd love it. I think I'd just love to see Wolves in another big game. I think City will win, says John. I think City will win too. Yes, with a 3-2 win. Well, the final. What a game that will be. Wolves 3, City 2. Can you imagine? I think they are beatable on their City on if they have a bad day. Newcastle have proven that. Crystal Palace have proven that. Have they lost to those two? They are beatable. And you know, if we get them at any point in the cup run, there's a chance. There's a chance that we can do it. I think slim, but you never know. Okay. Who do you think? All right, then let's have another question. Another question that you can all throw answers at. 24 people. Let's see if we can get 24 answers. Bang, 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 bang. Don't forget to like the stream as well. Where is it on your screen? That's where it is on mine. It's on 9 at the moment. Can we get it up to 12 likes in a minute? Right. The next question is, how much money do you think Wolves will spend? In fact, Wolves will definitely break their transfer record again in the summer. What will the fee be? So the current record is 18 million for Traore. We'll break it again, almost definitely. What will the fee be? You don't have to name a player, but if you'd like to, that's perfectly fine. But what do you think the fee will be for Wolves' new record signing? So lots of 30 millions for Raul Jimenez. Okay. I didn't really think that question through, did I? I don't think we'll pay 30 million for Jimenez. I think we'll pay in the region of 22 to 25. Yeah, I think. So 50 million, says Henry J. Pitt, for that 19-year-old in Portugal. Bit vague. 19. Portuguese. Anybody know it? What about somebody like... Oh, right, okay. That Felix... Is it João Felix or something that somebody just mentioned a little while ago? Could be, yeah. Apologies. 50 million for him. Sessignon. Sausage onion. Nice. Andre Gomez. After that goal against us. I do like Andre Gomez. Another player in my FIFA team on my career mode. With the last Midlands team in the FA Cup, I think we will win. I think we'll win 45 million for Jimenez. We don't need to pay 45 million for Jimenez. Right, I'm just going to click off the app now because I need to. I can bring you the lineups. Hopefully, I know Henry J. Pitt. All right, I'm just going to click off it now. Hopefully, I don't Did you hear all that? Did you hear the team? I just read the team out. I'm not sure if I was still live or not when it happened, but basically, it's the team that you'd expect. Jota is in. There's no. I didn't hear. Right, okay. So the team, standard team. Let's see if we can do it off the top of my head. Somebody will correct me because you've got the teams in front of you. It would be Patricio, Bolly, Cody Bennett, Doherty, Johnny, Dendonka, Neves, Moutinho, Jota, Jimenez. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we're in that sort of same situation as we were in the beginning of the season. That we know the team, the players know the team. It's a sign of a good team if you know the players who you're going to be playing alongside, and you know week in, week out. It's fantastic. Vinagre's on the bench. Thank you, Oliver. Happy Jota is fit. Yeah, I think they should beat Newcastle, shouldn't they? It's just the expectation that kills you. In I haven't got a good feeling about today because we should win. It's a stupid game, isn't it? Football, really stupid. Some Wolves fans just to my right now. A mother and a father taking their little girl up to the match. Could be her first game. She could be a seasoned goer as well. I don't know. Little girl. Well, the bloke who sits next to me brought his little girl a couple of weeks ago for her first game, I believe it was. You never guess which game it was. Leicester. 4-3. Imagine that being your first game ever. Let me know your first games in the comments section down below quickly. My first game was 1998, just before the FA Cup semi-final. In fact, against Portsmouth, and all I can remember, I think we were sitting in the Steve Bull lower at the time, quite near to the South Bank, and the whole time, old Pompey, ding, 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 all through the game. Goodness gracious. I was in the 70s. Oh dear, Craig. Oh dear. I really wish I'd have been a little bit older. I really wish there's a couple of things. I really wish I'd have seen the old ground, stood on the South Bank as it was, or sat. Dazzling Day often talks about it because he's a little bit older than us. Sitting on the side of the pitch, or looking, he talks about that little bit there. There's the pitch was like that, hanging on like that, and looking. I wish I'd have seen that. I wish I'd have been older in the playoff final. I wish I'd have been there at Chorley. I wish I'd have been there all the way down just to appreciate all the way back up. Been to 2 games, says Marie, as I'm from Belfast, and they've both been 0-0 against Rotherham and Blackburn. That must have been, was the Blackburn 0-0 2017? After watching Burnley and Huddersfield the other day, we are so much better than them. It's unreal. Can't see why we are 7th. Sorry, so unreal. Can see why we're 7th. Yeah. I think at the beginning of the season, I predicted us to finish 8th because I thought predicting us to finish 7th would mean that we would be, the best of the second tier within the Premier League. But Everton are not actually that good. Leicester are not that consistent. They're not good enough. And then teams like West Ham are pretty ordinary. Their midfield is slow and old. And you've got Burnley, who are, flashing the pan last season, and they're probably where they should have been last season now this season. So, yeah, there is no reason why we can't finish 7th, but it's going to be difficult. 100,000 at Chorley, apparently. Yeah, I wasn't even born, but I'd say I was there. Yes, Marie Gribben. I was there at that game as well, that Blackburn game that you talk about last No, not last year. No, 2017. I drove all the way down from Bridgend, where I used to live, to watch that game, and it was absolutely terrible. I think I drove there and back in the same day. There may be a match day vlog from all the way back when. If you look back in the channel somewhere. Do you think we'll get European football this year, Henry? We've just discussed that, unfortunately, mate. But I've got a good feeling. My passport is... I know exactly where my passport is, and it's out of date next December, as in December 2020. Oh, no. It's January 2020. So if you get through to the... Oh, no. If you get through to the later stages, the knockout rounds, I'm going to have to renew my passport. Oh, goodness. Everton wasn't bad. We man for man, so just much better. Yeah, although over the course of the last few weeks, Everton have been terrible. I think they've won one game in... Is it one game in the last 6 at home? Something like that. It's really terrible. Last game I went to was when Bully was playing. That long ago. Was that the last time you went to a game, Pete? Is that what you're saying? It's an awful long time ago. Cold nights in Russia. Yeah. Yeah. Let's hope for some games against like the Red Imps of Gibraltar and Dundalk in Ireland, Aberdeen. I mean, that would be exciting, wouldn't it? Just local ones, local European games. A couple in France, maybe. Auxerre. Torino in Italy. They're the sort of level of teams, aren't they, that are in the Europa League. I might start watching the Europa League now this week. Who are Arsenal playing? Huh? Are they in the competition still? They are, aren't they? Right. 5 more minutes before I'm going to be heading off. Any questions, fire away, boys and girls. I'll throw some at you as well. And we'll have a lovely little chat. My first game was in 93-94. Arsenal have Bate Borisov. They're quite good, aren't they? They've been in the... I think they've been in the Champions League, haven't they? Bate. I say quite good. Yeah, I don't know where they are. I don't know where Borisov is. We're going to have to learn all these places, aren't we, guys? Hey? Get your maps out. Be good, you know, going behind the Iron Curtain in the next few years. I think we've got to be careful as well, because although we've got more money, more resources and whatever than a team like Burnley, but we've seen it happen to other teams who've really struggled to play in the Europa League because of the Thursday, Sunday nature of the competition. Freedom asks, great question, an absolutely great question. How long do you leave a chicken in the oven for a perfect roast? Well, Freedom, it depends completely on the size of the chicken. I believe what it is that you put it in for 20 minutes and then 40 minutes for each kilogram that it is. So, for example, if it was a chicken that weighed 3 kilograms, I mean, it's going to be a monster chicken for starters. You're going to have to put it in for 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's a long time. You've got to be patient with these, though. I believe that's the thing. I could be completely wrong. Freedom, let me know how you do yours. We'll need strength and depth for Europe. Yeah, I think we need about 5. Thank you, Freedom. Chicken guru. Strength and depth for Europe. Yeah, I think we need about 5 or 6 players short, I think, for a good squad. It'd be interesting to see as well if we do get it. I mean, I couldn't, you know, I would be really excited. 3 games down here, full houses, big anticipation. Whoever it is, even if it's, you know, whoever it is, it's going to be massive, massive occasions here again. First time we had European football in my lifetime. Yeah, very, very exciting. No, I haven't parked Steel House Lane. I don't know what that means. Is that a joke? Am I getting it? When do you think we'll get a pick/blueprint for the Molyneux redevelopment? I don't know whether we will this time. I think we only did last time because Steve Morgan was a builder himself and sort of wanted to show off almost and make it a big deal about what he was doing for the club. I don't know whether we will see blueprints or pictures of it. I hope that we do. I think that we will, but it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't, because it's not really any of our business. I trust Fosun to. I mean, they're going to build. I mean, what's the South Bank holding now? About 6,000, 7,000. No, not as many. I think the North Bank is 7,500, so it's not as big as that. But it's going to be a whopping stand. I think it'd be probably about 15,000. Well, between like 12, 15,000. It'd be enormous for one tier stand. I think Spurs is going to be 25,000, 30,000. Is that right? In that one stand. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. Good morning from Australia. Amazing. Alexander King. What time is it over there now? Waking up. It must be quite early in the morning, hasn't it? Must be, I'm going to guess. Well, it depends where you are. It must be 6 o'clock. Maybe 5:30. Pre-match. What are you having for breakfast down there in Oz, mate? 6:15. Superb. So the game will kick off, will it, at 7 o'clock for you? Can you imagine watching the Wolves game at 7 o'clock in the morning? Goodness me. Well, I hope you're enjoying the stream down there, Alex. I hope the weather's lovely and warm for you, although I suppose the winter's coming, the summer's coming to an end for you, surely soon. It's tomorrow in Oz. Ask him how we got on. How do we get on, Alex? Did we win? All right, boys and girls, it's been a pleasure as usual. I'm just about to head off for the ground now. Be popping my scarf on now. Let me just show you how I put it on. Pop your score predictions in the comments down below, boys and girls. What do we reckon tonight? Wolves win. Wolves extend their lead in 7th place. I think we're 1 point ahead of Watford. Of course, tonight is a game in hand for us. 3-0, says Craig. 3-1, Henry J. Pitt. Superb. What about down in Australia? What are we saying? Oh my gosh, excuse me, dirty pig. Right. We got everything? Right, last question. I've got 2 chocolate bars in my pocket. One for me, one for my dad. Can you guess what they are? You've got 1 minute to guess. Snickers, says Craig Dawes. There are 2. Can you guess both of them? The prize is Pride, if you win. Twix, says Making Peanuts. Interesting, from somebody who makes peanuts. You've gone for a peanutless thing, chocolate bar. A Whopper. Isn't that a Burger King burger? Double Decker, says Henry J. Pitt. Okay, Mars. Somebody has got the right answer so far of one of them. Nobody's got the other one. Nobody has the other one. Come on, guys. Come on. Dairy milk. Bounty for a football match. Or bounty full stop. Dear me. Sorry, bounty question mark. Really? Mars and Kit Car, says Peter. Crunchy. Jason. Have you ever tried a battered crunchy? Oof. Stretches out for days. Curly Woolly. Curly Woolly. Oh, a couple of Curly Whirlies coming in now. Unbelievable. Curly Woolly at the last. Right. You've got 10 seconds before I reveal the chocolates. Here they are. I'm rustling them in my hands. Mars and Kit Kat, Peter Smith says. Right. Boost. Right, time's up, boys and girls. Ready? First one. First person to actually guess. I can't remember who it was. Snickers. Snickers. And the second one, nobody gets this one at all. Somebody's walking right by my car there. Hi, Will. That's a Newcastle fan. Is it? And he comes in straight away with boost. Incorrect. The answer is lion. It's a lion bar. Lovely. Right. It's been a pleasure. It's been emotional, guys. Loved it. I'll see you next time. Come on, the Wolves. What are we saying? 3-1, 3-0, 3-2. Wolves are going to score 3 again. I was watching Dazzling Dave's channel earlier on. It made me laugh. Some of the stats that he comes up with. So I'm going to come up with a similar stat. Wolves have never beaten a team beginning with N on a weeknight that doesn't begin with a T since 1948. I'll leave you on that.